It's bad. Anime.
Hello, everybody. My name is John.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Bad Anime, the podcast where we decide, is this anime bad? I actually did the intro today because I know I've been slacking. I almost messed up, but we did it. We did it.
I'm just proud you had the intros being... I mean, if you ever wanted to drop the intro, I'm fine with that in principle, but I was just so confused. It's like, which one are we doing? I just need some direction here, you know?
We can play around with dropping it. I'm fine with that. Less things for me to remember, you know? Although I guess it's not the most ridiculous thing to remember.
It's not... I didn't think it was mentally taxing, but apparently it's becoming a lot to handle. We'll talk about this more later.
You're right, because we have to talk about a very, very important piece of anime today. A generational anime, if you will. We have to talk about...
Why did you send this to me? Just why did you send this to me? Once I opened it, I was like, okay, what are we doing and why?
Okay, so...
This seems like a very off-brand one for you to suggest, and I'm just like...
It is.
What?
And that's why I chose it. I wanted a wild card.
Okay.
I wanted something that was just so completely off from what I usually do, because I was like, I want to just find something just off the beaten path that's just really dumb. I was craving that we went back to some kind of high school kind of adjacent show, because we haven't done one in a little bit. I guess High School DxD season 2.
You sound like an addict.
And I guess, my girlfriend is a gal, and also, I guess High School DxD season 1 as well. But other than that...
we got here as a romantic rom-com, so it actually, Love After World Domination was ringing a lot of bells in my head.
Yes, you're right, it was. But I found this specifically because I was like, what should we do? Because I wanted to get into 3-episode rule, because we haven't done one in a little bit. And I was on Crunchyroll, and I was just kind of scrolling around. I was looking in... a section on the site that is the popular section, as in what's most popular right now. Right. Of course, the top is what you would kind of expect. You had your My Hero Academia at the top, you had your One Piece, all that stuff, all that bullshit,
and so forth. Yeah,
exactly. And then so I scrolled down a little bit, and I was like, let's get into the stuff that's really popular, but isn't as exactly transcendently popular, which means that you have a lot of people watching it, but not a people that love to express their fandom outside of this app. So let's see.
People are not going to go to a party and mention it.
No, you're not going to go to a party. I didn't even see that many people go to Reddit and mention it. So that's how you know.
I know people are like, yeah, I don't want to be known I like this show, but what we got here was actually a lot tamer than I expected it to be, because what we have today is Tomochan is a girl.
Yes.
This show's about
Yes,
Tomochan, and she's actually a girl. That almost sums it up entirely.
It's perfect. It's the title fits so well with the theme of the show. It's almost as if they named it themselves. It's perfect.
They put on their big boy pants for this one.
Nice.
Oh yeah, that can be a plot.
That could be the tagline of the show. She put on her big boy skirt for this one.
So what we have here is a rom-com high school setup, and as the title implies, it's about Tomo. I forgot her full name. No, it is just Tomo. And our male lead, Junichiro.
Yes.
They've been friends for a long time. Childhood friend trope, classic. Growing up, Junichiro completely thought that Tomo was a boy.
Right.
Then
yes.
They go to different, I think, elementary schools, and they don't see each other for a while. They reconvene in middle school, and Junichiro's like, wait, you're a girl? What?
And she's like, you thought I was a dude?
This whole time?
That realization is what we get throughout this entire first 3 episodes, basically.
And of course, we all kind of know where this is going, where Tomo starts to have feelings for Junichiro, and she's pissed off because Junichiro just sort of refuses to accept the fact that she's a girl.
Which led me to believe that, in the first episode, at least, I didn't actually know that he knew she was a girl.
And they left that intentionally vague, and I thought that was pretty smart. But I love by the second episode they subverted my expectation with that.
Right.
Because what I thought I was going to get was 3 episodes of them going, I'm a girl. And he's like, no, you're not. And then by episode 3, he like actually learned she had a vagina or something.
Yeah, no, it was very, very apparent. And like, I think I started to get wind of it in the first episode when he saw like boobs.
Yeah.
And he was like, he immediately turned away. It's such a weird dynamic, as if like June looks at her and doesn't want her to be a girl. He just wants her to be his like dude friend that does dude things with him. But every time he like sees her like as a girl, like in a skirt or with boobs, he's like, what are you doing? Why aren't you wearing pants? And she's like, I'm a girl. I have to wear this.
And he's like, but the academy lets you wear slacks. I don't just go for that. It's like he's telling her to put pants on. Said no dude ever. So
Never. And he's like, what's with those like big jumbly things on your chest? And she's like, I cannot control this. This is my body. So there's that back and forth between them the whole time, which after the first episode, it becomes, as you said, pretty clear that he knows that she's a girl, but he just doesn't necessarily want to accept the fact that she's a girl.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't want her to be a girl. He wants her to be his best dude friend. But it gets a little ambiguous because on Tomo's end, she's very upfront about the fact she has feelings for Junichiro. Yes. It's at the end of episode 3, it's still pretty vague if Junichiro feels the same way. There's a great plot thread where like if a guy gets close to her, Tomo, that her being Tomo, Junichiro just wants to kill them. Like horribly. Yeah. Which I kind of like, because he never goes out and actually inflicts harm, but he's very threatening.
Oh, very threatening. To the point where like every time he like looks at the person, he has like all this like purple dark imagery around him and his eyes go white and stuff like that.
Yeah, the demon glare. Yeah, the anime demon glare.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. And specifically when one guy, which I think who adds quite a bit to the plot is okay, I guess like some context here. Tomo's dad is like a karate guy, and he runs like dojo.
Yep.
And
cool dude.
Tomo and June have both trained in that dojo. And Tomo loves to just fight. She loves to just beat people up and like get into confrontation. She can't really use her emotions too well, but she could use them fists. Yeah. But she joins the karate club at school, and the head of the karate club, it's so funny because everybody even girls at the school think Tomo is a boy. And everybody at this school also thinks that the karate coach, who is a boy, is a girl. Right. So this dude just comes out here with the biggest like Miles Tails Prower femboy bullshit energy that I've ever seen. Yeah. He just...
Did you just make a Miles Tails joke?
I did.
Oh, God.
That's what he reminded me of the most. He looks like Tails.
He reminded you of Tails?
He looks like Tails. He looks like him.
Okay, I have to go back and look at this now because you might be right about this.
It's perfect. It's such a perfect like just give him like weird like rat ears, whatever the fuck Tails is, a squirrel. I don't know. Just give him like those ears.
Fuck if I know.
And it would just be Tails.
I've never been a Sonic fan in my life, so when people reference Sonic, I forget it exists.
That his appearance made me remember
all the repressed Sonic memories and all those guilty Google searches you did when you were 11.
Oh, yeah. All the times I listened to Live and Learn by Crush 40 on my iPod Nano. They don't make an iPad Nano, but that'd be weird.
Yeah, it'd be really tiny and inefficient.
It's so small. Like,
it's funny because the connection between Sonic I always had because the song City Escape, the one everyone raved about.
Yeah.
From Sonic Adventure 2. It took me years to figure it out because I refused to look it up. I wanted to figure it out myself. I'm like, I heard the vocalist. I'm like, he was in another band. That voice is so familiar. It was the voice of shortly lived 80s metal sensation Danger Danger.
Really?
Yes, Danger Danger, known for their two biggest songs, Bang Bang and Naughty Naughty.
They love their repetition in that band.
Yeah, they really wanted to make sure you knew what they were about.
Wow. That's pretty incredible because it's funny because his career as the lead singer of Crush 40 was also like a short-lived thing. So it seems like his career is also very short-lived in many cases, I guess.
Well, it's funny because he's one of those guys who's like a one-hit wonder a few times over.
Yeah.
I love when that happens, when someone has a hit song and then another hit song, but in different bands in different context, and they, like how Rick Derringer is a one-hit wonder with the song "Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo," but he was also in a band, and they had their big hit "Hang On Sloopy," and then he later did.
Why do they have the same energy though?
I don't know.
The song titles are the same to me. Like, I can't even repeat the first one because you said the second one, and I was like, "That's the same." I don't.
But then he's only known today for Hulk Hogan's original theme.
Oh.
So he's a 3-time one-hit wonder.
Wow, that's pretty incredible. That's like how the lead singer of Ghost, Tobias Forge, was in Crash Diet, and also in this other band called Repugnant. He
was only in Crash Diet like very briefly.
For a stint.
Yeah, I think he was actually only a guitar player.
It was funny. I interviewed him, and I kept getting questions from our Twitch chat that were like, ask him about Crash Diet. I was like, why? He was only in there for like a year, maybe.
And it's weird because I have the total hipster thing with Crash Diet, because I was really big into Crash Diet by the time their third album, no, it would have been their fourth album, came out in like 2013. And then now, like several years later, a bunch of people are like, yeah, I fucking love Crash Diet. I'm like, they've released like one album in the past.
Where did you come from?
They released one album like 6 years later. What are you guys talking about?
It might be the same. Like, it might be the same Ghost fans that I have interacted with, where now they know about Crash Diet because Ghost is a big deal, and now you can Wikipedia him, and then you can find Crash Diet through him, and then be like, oh, well, he spent a year in the band. It must have made a huge impact on him, but it didn't.
No, because he was the rhythm. He was a rhythm. I know he was like a lead guitar player for a bit, if I believe. Yeah, he never took over vocals. He was he would have been in the band. I think at the same time. I think Dave Leppard was the original vocalist, who he died right after the first album. So, then they got the guy from Reckless Love, who's now Reckless Love. He was in Crash Diet for a pretty good album. Reckless Love was much more his gig. They needed they wanted a Vince Neil, and this guy was just David Lee Roth. That was the problem.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Yes, two very similar the same genre of music, basically, but
two wildly different vocalists.
And also just two wildly different bands.
Yeah.
Oh, and and Tomo's got a pussy. Cool.
I was at a concert recently.
Go on.
It was this band. I can't remember their names, but the lead singer was a woman. They're from California. They were pretty good. I really liked them. Very like indie-ish. They're fun.
Yeah.
And at one point, the singer, before they start the next track, she goes to the audience. She's like, "All right, I need you to sing these lyrics for me this next song. Let's do like," it was very simple. It was like the I don't even remember it, but like for explanation's sake, let's just say like the chorus was like, "Hey ho," and the crowd went, "Hey ho," and she, instead of being, like when rock stars are like, "Oh, you could do better than that, like let's go, let's do it again," her version of that was, "Come on, put your pussy into it." And that just stuck with me,
I'm gonna start using that. You should. Wow, I'm gonna start using that more often.
It's a great term.
Put your pussy into it.
And that's what Tomochan did. She was karate.
She was putting her pussy hard into it because she was originally in the girls' karate club at the high school, and then they kicked her out for being too tough. So she went into the men's club and started beating up all the dudes.
Yeah. And it's just become very easy for her, pretty much.
And the Tails guy is the captain, and he's the total simp for her, and it's pretty funny.
Even though he's engaged?
Yeah, because they bring in like this European girl.
She is
Carol.
She is Polly Pocket waifu.
Oh. Thank you for bringing back that term.
She is quintessential doll waifu, but honestly, I loved her the best. I thought
she was funny.
She was so funny because it's just that like a classic like airheaded, I guess like hot ditzy girl. But I'm not even gonna say hot, but like I guess she was perceived as such. But
She was one of those weird times in anime high schools where they bring in the foreign kid and the foreign kid is lusted over hard because they're not Japanese.
Yes.
So it's a little weird there.
She's British. That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
She's British, and she's just very airheaded, and like everything she says is very like frank, and she's very honest, and it was just very, very funny. I thought her character was spectacular. Like I laughed a bunch of times because
she
of her.
was really funny, and who was also really funny was the other female in this original gaggle. Was,
yes, Misuzu.
Misuzu, yeah. She was just a bitch, and I loved her.
Yeah, she was cool. I liked it. I liked like the cold-hearted kind of stuff.
Her, June, and Tomo were like the three friends back in the day. Tomo was aware that she was a girl, but Junichiro was aware that she was a girl. Couldn't figure out Tomo, but that was fine, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's okay.
It became a major plot point that Junichiro and this other girl, who was, like I said, very cold, very direct, bitchy. They dated for like 3 days in middle school. And Tomo wanted to kill both of them when she found out about it.
Yeah. And that went on for approximately 15 minutes.
Most of that episode.
I like the way that these episodes are sectioned, though, where they have... It feels like I'm watching like a SpongeBob rerun from back in the day. Where you have like the A side, the B side, when it has like... The one section, the second section.
Yeah, commercial break basically ends like half the episode, and then you get a second unrelated half to the next episode. That was pretty cool.
I like that. I like the little like vignette style, like, oh, now we're in this crazy situation. Whoa.
You see, that works really well for comedy anime.
Yeah,
I agree. You have to be comedic. Maybe slice of life you can get away with it, but for comedy, it really shines through here.
I think so too. Also, speaking about like some of the comedy elements, like outside of Carol, who was our British doll girl, outside of her, there were some very, as I put it, my first girlfriend is a gal isms that I got throughout this entire thing. I thought it was very like some of the language that they were using was very funny and very crude for like a high school language.
Yes.
Like at one point they go to like the boys' locker room and they're like, oh, like what are the boys talking about? And like June obviously like overhears everybody talking. And one of the dudes, I had to write this down because it was just like so weirdly forced but funny because it was just so like random. So he was like, yeah, like, you know, the guys are pretty into Misuzu and they're also pretty into Carol. And like, it just goes to the locker room and one dude's like, I'm so into Misuzu. Cold women are my jam. Like, who the fuck says that?
Okay, this is a big thing I want to talk about here because this dub was released same day as the sub.
Whoa.
So what I talk to this a lot. My girlfriend's gal is my biggest example of this. I'm curious how much time the dub company has now, because I doubt they have the same time as the Japanese voice cast to get this thing right.
I'm sure they don't.
So now that we're getting same day dubs, I imagine they're getting the episodes very late into production. And because the thing is, that's a very Japanese line, and I kind of missed that. I know the exact scene when he finds Carol like in his locker, so like I was kind of tuning out at that point.
Yeah,
but that's a very Japanese line rated, very like very very anime language. So we're getting to this territory where, and it felt like it throughout. It's translated verbatim.
Yeah,
which. Has its pitfalls. Is it super authentic? Yes. Is that cool? Yeah, definitely. But it's tough when you're going to a language like Japanese from English, which are very different language on a contextual level and how like they're structured. A line that'll make sense in Japanese does not always make sense in English because just the Japanese language functions very differently. Japanese is a language where they try to drop as many words as possible.
Yes, that's right.
Or English doesn't really particularly do that, In excuse me, in English, you always kind of want to reinterpret what you're talking about and make sure you always know you're clear. Japanese is very cool to let you like just assume you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like they'll only mention the subject once or twice. They won't keep reiterating it. So translating Japanese is very clunky and awkward. And you saw a lot of this here.
Yeah. That really came across, I think. throughout. But largely, I didn't really have a problem with it. I thought it was like fine. Just like one or two moments where I was like, this is wonky, but it was funny because it was wonky, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, you kind of have to play into it a little more, honestly.
Yeah, and I think they did play into it.
I'm saying that's how they succeeded. Like when they did a couple extra winks, like, okay, we know it's a weird dub, bear with us.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
As someone who's been and long since on this show championing people like Amanda Wynn Lee, who are very flexible with their adaptations, and who are into appropriation or recontextualization, I had to bring it up because I always enjoyed that. Again, I know so many people go like, I want authentic. It's like, well, if you want authentic, watch the sub.
Watch the sub. Yeah, exactly. There's an option for you.
Yeah. So dubs are going to be an art in a very questionable state soon because of all the speed involved.
Well, the simul dubs, are getting crazy.
Simul dubs, yeah.
Like,
but the thing is, that might be the way the industry's going. We'll see.
Yeah.
So a little pause for concern there. But if I always had a problem with it, I can switch over back to the sub because sometimes, especially with comedy animes, it depends where the comedy is coming from. Because if the comedy is coming a lot from the dialogue, that's a little harder for me to understand. But some comedy anime are very visual in nature. Where My Girlfriend is a Gal was actually, even if you didn't take out the dub and how great it was, you could tell a lot of it came from dialogue because it wasn't as visually insane.
Right.
Whereas My Girlfriend was more visually insane.
Yes. They're more like visual cues.
And this one was somewhere in between.
Yeah. It did a little bit of both.
He did a little bit of both, which I kind of enjoyed. But it was cool to see that, to see them trying to work in like that all that comedy in English dub with such what I'm assuming is a condensed time frame.
Yeah.
And now my conspiracy brain's going off. I'm like, are Japanese studios playing more of a hand in the English dubs? Do they want to like really ensure their quality? The first example I saw of anyone doing that was actually Go Nagai in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the 90s. Remember we did the first episode of that Cutie Honey OVA series?
Yes, I remember that.
He personally chose the English voice actor for that. Voice actress for Honey. Like he got to choose that. I'm like, did he choose the Japanese one too? I'm curious now.
What if he didn't? He was like, okay, fine. I won't choose this one, but you got to give me the American at least, And
the Japanese studio is probably like, we don't care. We're going to charge them a small licensing fee, and we don't give a shit what the product is.
Yeah.
Just look at Dog Soldier.
I wish I didn't. Wait, also, speaking of looking at things, why is Tomochan a wolf?
With the one fang thing?
Why? She got like a fang sticking out. I'm like, there's no. It's not even. She's. I would get it if she was like one of those like anime schoolgirls that goes for like a cat look or something, But no cat look. She just has a fang.
The one fang thing, it's weird because it's a very common thing in like spunky anime protagonists or anime females.
Yeah, she's a spunky anime protagonist. You're right.
But like, she's not really though. She's more of a brute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like, for example, like Rin Fan in Infinite Stratus.
I knew you were gonna say Rin Fang, and I'm so happy you did.
Your face is lit up when I brought up Rin Fan.
Rin Fang.
You still don't know if that show is bad or not, but you're gonna smile every time I say Rin Fan.
No, I don't. I know I like Rin Fang though.
And you know what's crazy? In the anime, they did the smart thing. Well, in the first couple seasons of the anime, they did the smart thing. Because in High School DxD, Rias originally had that fang in the novels.
She did. Oh.
But they got rid of it in the anime. But then we have to watch season 3, and then eventually season 4 of High School DxD, and we'll talk more about that in that appropriate episode.
Well then.
Anywho, but yeah, no, she has like it's kind of ill-fitting of the character because whenever I say the snaggletooth, I think of someone much spunkier because she's not really spunky. She's just she's a meathead.
Yeah, much more like a Fox Girl, I guess.
Yeah. She's not gonna be witty and mischievous. She's gonna punch you in the face.
Right.
Yeah, where Rin would say a crude joke and then do something to you. No, this girl Tomo is just gonna punch you. There's a different character there.
I could see it more in Misuzu would have that rather than Tomo-chan, I guess, in this context.
A little bit, yeah. But then traditionally, those characters are usually brighter. The whole Fang inclusion was very odd here. And then her
Weird.
mother, who looks exactly like her, also had the Fang.
Yeah, that was a very weird thing too. I don't know.
I love when anime don't try to make the moms look different. They try to make them look like an older version. So
Yep.
basically, it's one guy drawing the MILF version of his teen character.
Pretty much. And then like I love how the dad is just like he's just like some bald dude. And it's like you don't look any like clearly she got like the looks from the mom and the muscle from the dad or something there. So that was a
But it's
fun
still
thing
weird
to
because
look at.
it looks like this. It looks like the mom reproduced by budding. It's very bizarre.
Yeah. It was like at the end of Cat Dog when they found out their parents were like a frog and a cow.
Was that the end of Cat Dog?
Yeah, you know that?
It's been years since I saw it.
Sorry to spoil it for you, but I don't know if the second one was a cow, but I know the first one was definitely a frog.
Actually, okay. Now you're saying I remember the frog. I don't remember what the mom was, but I remember the dad being a frog.
I don't remember either. It was either a cow, a hippo, some large animal.
Are you just replacing some of those images with cow and chicken,
I could be.
or are you just remembering Rocco's Modern Life and just assuming the mom was heifer?
I also could be.
Heifer.
Heifer.
Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby.
Oh, baby. I love Rocco's Modern Life.
Well, they're including phone sex jokes.
My salmon bushes.
That one I don't remember. What was that?
There's one of the characters who was a frog was pissed that like Rocco was like doing his lawn. He was like mowing the lawn and he was like getting
Mr.
the
Bighead,
bushes. Yeah, Mr. Bighead. And he comes out and he's like, "Don't touch my salmon bushes." And they're just like a bunch of like instead of like apples on a tree, it's like salmon growing on a bush. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like why was that 0.3 seconds going to make an impression for 20 years of my life? Why?
You see, I love it sometimes when comedy just goes for the lowest denominator and says these two words together sound funny. You know what I mean?
And just immediately making it a reality in whatever they're doing. Like that, you can't argue with that. Nobody's like, "Oh, what the hell is a salmon bush?" Because that's an accepted reality in this world. That's world building, is what that is.
It's more engaging than fucking Princess no Mononoke in terms of world building.
It is. It is. I like a salmon bush.
My salmon. I can't even say the word without cracking.
My salmon bushes. Just bushes with just fish on them.
My.
You can't even say it.
No, I can't. I'm trying. People at home, this isn't a bit. I just can't.
You literally can't do it. I can't. Oh god. Oh my god.
I can't even speak. All right. So like,
What are we supposed to be doing?
why is like Tomo's rack kind of huge?
It's massive.
She's
It's so
huge
massive.
boobs.
Huge.
Because like the tomboy characters
Huge.
usually don't have jumblies this size, but
She has those Rias Gremory badonkers, you know? She's just got them. And, you know, everybody else just it doesn't have what she's got.
oh no,
And
what's
they
her
make
name?
note of it all the time.
The foreign one, Carol, also had a huge
Carol,
pair.
oh, yeah.
Because
Oh, that's right.
There was the one scene where like Tomo was trying to train her self defense because she's like, I have an enemy here, and then we let her.
Yeah.
And then we later. Sorry, I keep getting June and Tomo confused.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean that is genius of them because like Tomo could be short for like Tomohiro, like a very traditionally masculine name.
Right.
So
It makes sense. Tomohiro Ishii, you know,
exactly,
our boy.
he's still kicking.
Stone Pitbull, baby.
We need to do another monthly special so we can just talk about New Japan for like an hour.
We do. There's a lot to talk about, actually.
There's so much, and if we were recording this at like already 11:30 p.m. I would say let's do it tonight, but that's going to be coming a session or two from now.
Yes, it will. It will. But I guess will this show come in a session or two? If I could use the worst segue of all time.
Not the worst. Clunky, yes, but there was something there was something charming about it though. It's almost like fucking salmon.
Thank you. Thank you. Salmon bushes.
I'm gonna watch a 45-minute compilation of just him saying salmon bushes on YouTube.
My salmon bushes. I'm gonna find it for you. But I guess what I was getting at.
This is
right?
3-episode rule. We gotta talk about it.
We gotta make the decision. Are you sticking with this? Are you continuing to watch it, or are you just gonna say I got what I wanted, or not even I got what I wanted, or I've seen enough. I'm gonna leave it alone. And please, what did you think? Final thoughts, and will you continue, or will you not?
The show was funny and a little smarter than I thought it would be, but I'm good. I'm just good. With a comedy anime, it really has to pull you in, and the characters either have to be really funny or really interesting. So I'm just kind of like, Tomo's very one note.
Yeah.
Honestly, the problem here is the leads for me. Tomo and Junichiro are both very one note. June is just uncomfortable with the idea of Tomo being a girl. Tomo, her quirk is like, every time she gets a little further with June, it's the same thing as a fucking redhead girl from Mother of Goddess Dormitory. Whenever
yes.
she anything romantic happens to her, she just starts punching things.
I was gonna compare her to Donna Pinciotti from That 70s Show.
Another good comparison.
She's just got that like big boned, like butch kind of, but she's still like attractive.
Gianna Michaels.
She's just like a.
You gave me the deadest stare. You're like, don't. Just don't.
We need a whole nother podcast for that.
For that world, like, just the years like 2002 to around 2009. I stopped watching recent stuff a long time ago. There's so much.
We all have our eras,
I like mine in standard definition.
By the way, can you check your Zoom messages real quick?
Oh, sure. You found it. I have to watch this off air, or else the next 5 minutes of this podcast are just going to be me.
It's literally an 8-second video, and the title in caps is "Hey, you get out of my salmon bushes."
I clicked it. I'm watching it right now. This is the first time I ever watched This is the first time I ever. Okay, oh, wait a minute. Okay, I didn't sign in my YouTube login on this.
Oh,
God
no.
I hate ads. Okay, well, fuck it. We're not pausing the episode. I'm going to keep going.
No, we're going to keep going. But yes, you will watch it. And it's literally what a salmon bush is. It's incredible.
Hey, you get out of my salmon bushes.
Hey, you get out of my salmon bushes.
It's just it's just the dog. It's a very badly drawn salmon.
To continue with my final thoughts for me, I also would like to say that I found some entertainment here, because I did. It was funny. I enjoyed it. I got most of my entertainment out of like Carol, and also out of Misuzu being a dick. I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah. They did. The mains, I agree completely with what you're saying. The mains were very like, it's either this emotion or that emotion, and there was no like in between.
To compare it to something like I said, Love After World Domination, which I find this very similar to.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
The leads there were like a lot more dimensional.
Yes, absolutely.
Like in that show, Fudo was a goofball, an idiot, but also the hero,
Right. Exactly.
And then
it starts with a D.
Decimate.
Yes, nice.
We remembered.
We did.
How the fuck did we remember the protagonist names?
No idea. How did you know Fudo? Look at us mentioning like offshoot characters from Love After World Domination and from Infinite Stratos in the same podcast. Look at that.
I think we're just broken as anime fans now.
I think we might be.
This is why recent episodes of this show are getting so unhinged.
We've just seen so much, and honestly, for this 3-episode rule, I think I've seen enough.
There you go.
I don't need to continue. There's really not much there for me. I like to consider it, as with the other high school anime that we watched, as living in the same world as the other high schools. I like to think like they're all at the same high school, and like Iwa Kakeru, like the rock climbing anime, is just the rock climbing club at this high school.
And I like to believe, like, down the hall, you'd hear, like, did you hear one guy in class 2F is dating 2 girls?
And then down the hall, you just hear a bunch of girls screaming, and you're like, oh, what's that? And they're like, oh, that's Kiba.
And then further down the hall, you have Sekai yelling, I'm pregnant.
And then one door down from that, you have Makoto Ito having his 3rd gangbang of the week.
He was a monster.
A monster. But yeah, I wouldn't continue this, honestly. It was funny. I thought it was funny. I thought I said it more for like shock value and like, what the hell is this kind of stuff than I did for like, it might actually be good. And I like the fact that it was more like a romance centric thing than like a boob centric thing, which it was at times.
Here's the thing: if it was more outlandish, I'd be more interested. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because since when your mains aren't interesting like this, you need something else to carry the show. The pure absurdity could have saved it.
It could have, but there wasn't enough of that. I don't think.
This is the fucking domestic girlfriend problem.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is a lot more entertaining than Domestic Girlfriend. Oh, geez.
You know, in this 3 episodes, I got more out of it than I did the entirety of Domestic Girlfriend.
I agree. And we can put it to bed there, I think.
a pretty backhanded compliment, but still a compliment.
Still one nonetheless. Hey.
Tomo.
Don't bite. What's that phrase? Don't bite the backhand that feeds you.
Trying to think, there's a Kiss lyric in there somewhere that I could have. It was from, I think it was
something about putting my log in her fireplace. Was that?
No, that was from the song "Burn, Bitch, Burn."
Oh yeah, a classic.
It's an actual song. It's actually like a pretty decent song. Want to listen to it together after this? Then go to bed.
Yeah, I'm down. It's bad. Wow, oh my god, what a rousing podcast of anime conversation. Am I right, my compares? Am I right, my weebdom? Anywho, yeah, you can send us a message if you want. Did you like this podcast? Did you hate this podcast? Do you want to kill me? Do you want to drench me in Calaxosaur blood and watch me drink it? That's fine. Just send us an email at badanimepod@gmail.com or DM us on our Instagram at badanimepod, all one word. You can also find us on YouTube as Bad Anime, and you can leave a comment on whatever video you want to leave a comment on. We'll read them all anyways. We don't care. I love you. Kiss, kiss.
Simple Equations Podcast Network.